Hey guys, so this is going to be just kind of your universal all-round warm-up that you can do before you move on to deepening your stretches anywhere else, like either in your hips or your hamstrings or your quads or upper body or anything like that. So this is just a generic kind of warm-up video to warm up each part of your body. So we'll start in a seated position for all of these next exercises. So if you're finding that your hips kind of hurt, you may want to prop yourself up on something like either a block or some cushions or something like that. Or alternatively, you can just send your legs out long if that feels better. Or you can actually, for this first part, you can actually sit on a chair as well if you wanted to rather sit on a chair. So we will start by just going ahead and taking a couple of nice deep breaths. And then we'll use our arms too to extend them out, up and overhead. And then exhale, float them back down. 2 more times, inhale. Steady breath, let your belly, ribs, chest expand. Perfect, so now we'll let the fingertips drift down on either side of your body, and we'll start with our neck. So go ahead and tuck the chin. Already you'll feel a stretch down the back of your neck. And we're going to rotate our left ear towards our left shoulder, rolling the ear towards that shoulder. And then we'll roll forward again, nice and slowly, opposite ear to opposite shoulder. And we'll roll back forward through center. Enjoy that for just a moment, that stretch in the neck. And then we'll just bring the gaze through center and up to the sky to stretch out the throat. A little bit of compression in the back of the neck. And then we'll bring the gaze back forward. So now we'll just intensify the neck stretch just a tiny little bit. So we'll pull the fingers down. Tuck your chin. Roll left ear to left shoulder. Pull down with your right fingertips to feel that stretch along the trap. If you want, you can put the gentlest of pressure with the left hand onto your right ear. Really gentle pressure. Feeling a little even deeper of a stretch. And you can float your left hand down. And this time bend into the right elbow and place your hand behind your back. So you're just bending at the elbow and pulling it on the small of your back. It's just targeting the neck in a different area. Deep breaths. Perfect. You can let go of your right arm now. And super slowly, we'll bring chin back in towards the center and over to the opposite side. Take a breath there. This time we're pulling down with the left fingertips to feel the extra stretch there along the left side. Perfect. If you want to intensify just slightly, right hand comes to left ear and puts the gentlest of pressure there. Perfect, and you can bring that hand back down and maybe bend into left elbow to place your forearm on the back, on the lower back. Again, just feeling the stretch in a little bit of a different way. All right, and we'll send that arm out long again. Super slowly, chin comes back through center. This time we're in this crunch here with the chin in towards the chest. If you want, you can place your hands on your head and again, the gentle pressure pulling down just a tiny little bit, feeling the stretch maybe pull a little more intense, and a little bit down the back, a little more down the back. You're in charge of the intensity here. And then we'll go ahead and bring our hands back alongside the body and bring the gaze up to the sky, stretching out the chin again nice and slowly, stretching out your neck, your throat. And if you want this time, you can place your fingers underneath your chin and small pressure. Just lift gently at the chin to get a little deeper of a stretch in the throat. And then slowly bring your gaze back forward. Perfect, now we'll just roll out the shoulders a little bit. We're moving down the body into the shoulders. So rolling those guys a few times forward and back. And then we'll send our arms out long. Bring our fingertips to your shoulders, and we're going to make some circles. So squeezing the circles forward almost, and let them touch in the front and move towards touching in the back. So big exaggerated circles here, getting into the shoulders nicely. Perfect, really exaggerating and squeezing the shoulder blades in the back. We'll switch directions, again squeezing elbows together in the front and the back, getting into those shoulders. You're still breathing nice and deeply as well. Perfect, and then you can just bring those hands out long, squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back, and then we'll bring them forward as well, pulling into the shoulders as well. Bring your fingertips to face the sky and just start to move your hands up and down, just kind of moving into the shoulder blades. Perfect. All right, and we'll move into our spine now. So we'll just inhale to lengthen your fingers, stay rooted in the spine. And then on the exhale, we'll get some lateral flexion going. Let your left hand drift down and reach with the right fingertips. Keep your right knee and hip anchored down as you reach with those right fingertips to really get that lateral flexion all along the right side of the body. Deep breath still. And then we'll come back through center. We'll take a big inhale. And we'll exhale over to the opposite side. Again, keep left knee, left hip nice and anchored and reach as far as you can with left fingertips. And breathe deeply. Notice how your breath, the deeper you breathe, you're getting more out of your stretch. And we'll exhale back through the center. Now this time we'll inhale to lengthen, and we're exhale gonna twist to the left. So bring your right hand down by the left thigh, and if you want, you can even use it as leverage to maybe twist a little deeper on every exhale. So the inhale lets you lengthen the spine through the crown of your head, and your exhale lets you release tension to maybe twist a little deeper, but we're still warming up. So just slight little movements. Maybe eventually you can look out past your left shoulder, stretching the neck a little bit as well. And slowly, slowly, we'll unravel through the center. Nice slow movements. We'll inhale to lengthen the hands up to the sky. And we'll exhale to twist over to the opposite side. So left hand comes to the outside of right thigh. And slowly at first, inhale lengthens the spine, and exhale releases tension to twist the spine out a little bit. Belly still rises and chest still expands every inhale. Eventually looking out past your right shoulder if your neck feels all right. Perfect, slowly unraveling. Back to center, inhaling to lengthen. And this exhale, we'll just float our fingertips forward for a seated forward fold. So lead with the chest as you inch your fingers more and more forward. And then finally tucking the chin to feel that stretch along the spine and into the lower back. You can even pull down on one shoulder at a time to see how that feels. Different movements along the spine. And we can slowly walk our hands over towards the left. Again, we keep right knee and hip anchored and just feel a little different stretch in the spine. You might find a lot of release there on the right side of the lower back. Deep breaths. And we can walk through center and over to the other side. Feeling that release there on the left side now. Breathing deeply. Perfect, we'll walk back through center. And now we're ready to kind of move into the spine. So what we'll do is move into a tabletop. If you can start to walk the fingers so far forward that your hips start to rise and you cross over the ankles into a tabletop position. Otherwise, you can just make your way over to the tabletop position however feels comfortable for you. So here we are stacking wrists and shoulders and knees and hips. Our fingers are spread wide so that there's a lot of pressure, a lot of surface area to alleviate pressure from the wrists. We'll just do a couple of cat-cows. So on the exhale, we'll tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, push your mat away, push the ground away as the middle of your back arches up to the sky.
When we're ready to inhale, we'll lead with the tailbone by bringing it up and let the spine ripple forward. Belly button pulls down, chest pulls forward, crown of the head pulls up on that inhale. If you need to cough, that's okay. Sometimes we need to cough. And then when you're ready to exhale, let's start at the tailbone again. Tuck the tailbone, let the spine ripple. Tuck chin, push that mat away. The middle back pulls up to the sky. So just surf your breath here a couple times. Starting at the tailbone, inhaling to your cow, pushing the mat away. And exhaling, starting at the tailbone, spine ripples into cat. Perfect. So take just one more round of both of those. And we'll meet in a neutral spine when you're done with that. And here you can just close your eyes and just kind of do anything that feels good for the body. So you're just moving the shoulders, moving the hips slowly or fast, however feels good. Maybe move the hips in circles and opposite directions. Maybe even making some figure eights with the hips. Just anything that feels good. Let your body guide you. So take 2 more breaths there. And then we're back in our tabletop. And we're going to push ourselves up into the cat pose, arching the middle back up towards the sky. And on our exhale, we're going to keep pushing the mat away as you drop your hips down to your heels. And then really sink them in there. Push with your hands to sink the hips down by the heels as much as possible. And see if you can slide those fingers forward, inching them forward to find that long length in the spine. So take a couple breaths in your child's pose. Perfect. Now we'll start to come back up to the tabletop and finish off with a nice little twist before we get into our legs. So we'll bring our right hand to the middle of the mat, right under your face, and we'll inhale our left fingertips up to the sky. And on the exhale, we'll thread the needle. Left arm goes in between right wrist and knee. Left shoulder and left temple make it down onto the mat. So we're just twisting nicely here. Now you can choose your version here that you like. If you want to get into the left shoulder blade, you can place your right hand on top and interlace your fingers and pull the elbows both straight. Feel yourself pulling that left arm almost like it's coming out of the armpit. It should feel lovely in the lower back. Alternatively, you can float the right fingertips up to the sky if you want to focus on a twist. The more you pull the left fingers forward, the more you'll be twisting it out and the right fingers back. And then another version is to just send the right arm forward, feeling a stretch along the right side. So choose your version, and we'll take one last breath. Wherever your right hand is, bring it to the push-up position and slowly push into the mat and lift those fingertips up on that inhale. And exhale, float the left hand down. We'll do the other side here. So left hand comes to the middle of the mat. Inhale, right fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. Right temple, right shoulder, come down to the mat and choose your version here. Either clasping and straightening those elbows to get into the right shoulder, or lifting left fingertips up, but inching the right fingers forward more and left fingers back to get the twist. Or you can send that left hand forward, getting into a nice long stretch along the left side. Last breath here. And we'll bring the left hand back to the push-up position here. Use your strength on the inhale to push into the mat. Right fingertips float up to the sky, counter twist. And we'll exhale to float back down into our tabletop. Perfect, so we'll start to get into our legs now. So we're going to exhale to cat, and then squeeze the right knee tight into your chest. Create space to step your right foot forward. If the right foot if your leg doesn't want to do that and your hips are kind of tight today, you can bring your hands all the way over to the left and lean over to the left, bringing the right foot forward, and then kind of seeing if you can realign here, straddling your right foot. Perfect. So here, we're just going to sink forward. We're first gonna get into the calf and Achilles. So slide the heel a little bit more in towards the knee and then lean forward so that your knee goes past your toes. So you're stretching out that Achilles and the calf. It's called overstepped dragon. So you should feel that nice long stretch down ankle and calf as well. Perfect. All right, last breath. And then we'll inch the toes forward, and we'll rise up to a crescent pose, Anjaneyasana. So here in the left psoas, you should be feeling a little tight, a little pull, nice stretch down the psoas, the groin on the left side. Lengthen out of your arms and really enjoy this stretch. When you're static like this, I don't mind if your right knee goes past the right ankle. Really, all you want to start doing is playing around with the pelvis, like maybe starting to tuck the pelvis under to feel an extra stretch down the left psoas. Perfect. Now we'll move into a hamstring stretch, Ardha Hanumanasana in yoga. We'll big inhale, lengthen, and then we'll exhale to frame right foot and start to straighten right leg, sending the hips back. Now this might be very difficult. It is a nice little hamstring stretch. So maybe you want blocks to lift the ground up to get that straight leg. Because we want your leg straight so that we're getting into the hamstring. The second you have a bend in the knee, you're not targeting the hamstrings as much. So we want as much as possible for your right leg to be straight. You can flex into your right foot as well. But what we're trying to do here is drive our chest towards our right big toe. Same with the left hip. You want to drive the left hip towards the right big toe. That's what's going to get you into the hamstrings even more. But play around with your hip positioning and see when you feel the most intense stretch on that hamstring. So take one last breath here. Perfect. And our final little stretch is going to get into the quads and the glute. So we'll bend into right knee to come back up. Now what we're going to do is place the left hand on the inside of the right foot and inhale the right fingertips up to the sky. So you're twisting towards your knee. On the exhale, we're going to bring our right hand down onto our right thigh. Inch your feet forward and then out to a 45-degree angle and gently guide your right knee open so that you feel that right glute kind of engage here. It's called the winged dragon. And so you're just getting into your right glute a little bit here. Now you have the option to reach back with your right hand and start to bend into the left leg to reach for the left foot. Now, be careful of a hamstring cramp because those are real, and I do have some tips to help those. But basically, this is what it looks like from the side. You're in that winged dragon, you reach back with the right hand, bend into left foot, and clasp it and bring it as close down in towards the glute as you can to stretch out your quad over there. So we've got a nice little glute stretch on the right side and a quad stretch on the left side, and you've got a nice twist in the spine as well. So take another last breath. And we'll slowly start to let the left foot drift down. Guide the right knee back into the midline. And one last time, we'll send ourselves back into the hamstring stretch. See if you get a little deeper. And then we'll come back straddling that right foot. And then you can just go ahead and step it back into your tabletop. Or like I said, bring your hands over to the left to lean to the left and get that right leg back. Perfect. And we're going to do our other side now. So we push up into the cat, create space, squeeze left knee in towards chest, and step that left foot forward. Again, otherwise, hands are over to the right. Lean to the right as you bring left foot forward and straddle left foot. Perfect. So we're going to do our overstepping dragon. So slide the left heel a little in towards the right knee and then lean forward so that the knee goes past the toe so that you can feel that stretch along the left side. Perfect. If you bring the right knee back a little bit, you'll get the psoas stretch as well. So just take a couple breaths here. Perfect. And now we'll inch the fingers back forward so that the knees roughly aligned with the heel. And we'll inhale to rise up to that Anjaneyasana. So again, play with your pelvis. If you tuck your pelvis under, that right psoas might stretch even more gloriously. As well as if you lean forward with that left knee going past the left ankle, you might get a little extra stretch in the right psoas as well. And in these static positions, it's okay to have the knee not stacked above the ankle. So we'll take a nice deep breath. We'll inhale, lengthen. And on our exhale, we'll frame that left foot again, slowly sending your hips back to straighten left leg. Again, come up on your blocks or anything that will give you some height as you pull into the hamstring. Stretch. Now again, you can flex into the left foot if you like. Play around with the positioning of your pelvis. Usually it's right hip needs to pull forward towards the left big toe. Left hip pulls back. And then see if you can drive your sternum towards your left big toe to have a little bit of length and sturdiness in the spine. So here we are taking our deep breaths. All right, and we'll bend into left knee. Coming back up, right hand comes to the inside of right foot. Inhale, left fingertips up to the sky, get that twist. And on our exhale, we'll bring left hand to left thigh. Inch your toes forward a little bit and out to a 45-degree angle, and gently press your left knee away from your body until you feel somewhat similar to a pigeon stretch on the left glute. Perfect. Now again, you have that option to send left hand behind you, bend into right leg, and clasp for the foot, squeezing the right heel as close in towards your glutes as you can get. Nice. Left glute stretch and right quad stretch as well. Again, you got that twist, and you're breathing deeply. Perfect. Slowly let go when you're ready. Gently guide left knee back to midline. And exhale one last time to your Ardha Hanumanasana, that hamstring stretch. See if you can get a little deeper this time. And then we'll bend here into the left leg. And we'll create that space to step your left foot back, or sending hands out to the right, leaning over to the right and sending left foot back. And here we'll just one last time go into our cat, arching up. And on our exhale, we'll keep pushing the ground away as we slowly lower our hips down to our heels and slide those fingers forward in your child's pose, Balasana. And maybe this time you want to get into the hips, so you can bring your big toes to touch and send your knees nice and wide to maybe settle a little deeper into the child's pose and get into the hips just a little bit more. But breathe deeply into the back of your body here. Perfect. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly walk yourself up. And you can sit back into that hero pose, which is also a lovely stretch along the quads and the tops of the feet. So now that you've done your little warm-up video, you are ready to go into a little bit more intense stretches, and we will definitely be posting lots more intense stretches that target each muscle in the body.